What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see, we actually got 21 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. Now a lot of you comment wanting to see how many I got wrong, and I thought I'd show you in today's video. We only got 3 picks wrong and got 21 right, which is a 90% win rate. Yes guys, you heard that right, 90% win rate. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get a 90% win rate and get 21 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon. Should be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure you join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $4,500 just yesterday, and another member who won $550 for the 7th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description, so go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group, and I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. And a quick shout out to the comments of the day who commented on my last video. We have Jacob Dunn who said cash yesterday, let's run it back, so shout out to him, and also TJ Blues who sent some money emojis to us. So guys, girls, if you do want to be a part of the comment of the day, just comment on this video and like this video, and you can be in the running to be the comment of the day tomorrow. All right, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're going to be talking about is none other than James Harden, and this one is for 26.5 points, and this one is for less. Now when we look at James Harden, we've actually seen him go in the under in 2 out of the last 5 games. So in those games, it was against the LA Lakers where he had 13 points, Phoenix Suns where he had 21 points, Detroit Pistons he had 50, in New York Knicks he had 27, and then Sacramento Kings he had 29 points. So we actually have seen him go on the under in 2 out of the last 5, but their next matchup that they do face off against is none other than the New Orleans Pelicans. So it is going to be a very interesting game, but when we look at the New Orleans Pelicans, we do see that they rank 26 when it comes to points allowed. Now, the reason why we do like the under for this situation here is due to the fact that when it comes to New Orleans Pelicans, they actually do a fantastic job at restricting points to the guard position. So we definitely see that being a huge factor coming into this game. We do very much like the under for this situation here due to that reason. But on top of that, what we also are noticing is that Kawhi Leonard is expected to play in this game. And since he is expected to play, it could actually dip James Harden's usage rate. Now we have seen over the last couple of games where Kawhi has been playing, Harden is still able to put up good numbers, but now with a matchup like Pelicans who do restrict guards very much to points, we think Kawhi may actually take over this game and James Harden may take a back seat due to that reason. So we have seen the Pelicans do this time and time again against other teams as well, so we definitely see that being a huge factor here. Now when it comes to this matchup as well, LA Clippers and New Orleans Pelicans, although Pelicans are a little bit of a faster paced team than Clippers, they are still technically a pretty slow paced team. And since they are a pretty slow paced team, we definitely still see that being enough to have a less volume from James Harden coming into this matchup. Now we look at James Harden and actually the games he's played against Pelicans so far this season. He faced off against them on December 30th and he actually had 27 points that game. So he just made it over by 0.5. We think he just got a little bit lucky. If you are missing by 0.5, you're definitely in the right space. And I think with this next matchup, and especially with Kawhi expected to be playing in this game, we should see James Harden actually go on the under on this one. Now when we also look at James Harden in that Pelicans game, he also had 2 rebounds, 4 assists. He had 14 shots, so he shot 42.9% from the field, so he shot pretty well. He also shot 50% from the 3-point line. So James Harden just had one of those games. He had a great matchup and he was able to take advantage of it when it came to having the hot hand, but we think it is going to come back down to reality and we should see him go on the under in this situation here. So when we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have him favored for the under as well, so that works out in our favor there. But James Harden, 26.5 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about another great player, and that is none other than Tyrese Haliburton. So Tyrese Haliburton, as we all know, fantastic player for the Indiana Pacers. Now Pacers have done pretty well so far this season, but this one is actually a combo. Okay, so this is actually a combo for rebounds and actually assists for 13.5, and this one actually is for less. Now when we look at Tyrese Haliburton and actually his unders, we've seen him go on the under in 1 out of the last 5 games. Now looking past his 5 games, we see that he faced off against Denver, who he had 16 combo for rebs and assists. Toronto Raptors, he had 14. Miami Heat, he had 12. Chicago Bulls, he had 17. And then Houston Rockets, he had 18. Now, when we look at this next matchup, they do face off against the Milwaukee Bucks. So it is going to be a very exciting game there. Now, the Bucks do rank 9th when it comes to assist allowed, so very, very high in that category. However, when we move to rebounds allowed, we do see that the Bucks rank 26, so a little bit lower there. Now, when it comes to someone like Tyrese Haliburton, as we all know, he does have a higher usage rate in the assist department. And the fact that Milwaukee Bucks do rank very, very high in that category, we definitely see that restricting him from this line and hopefully going on the under in this one. Now, although Bucks do rank, pretty poor in that rebounding department, you do also have to realize that Milwaukee Bucks actually do a fantastic job at restricting rebounds and assists to the guard position, and specifically being that the point guard position as well. Tyrese Haliburton usually plays that point guard position, and Bucks have done a fantastic job against other teams restricting, those point guards from the rebounds, from the assists, and especially for someone like Tyrese, who only has, a little bit more of a higher usage rate in the assists compared to rebounds. If they take away his assists early, we may not see him get even nearly close to this line. Now, although he has had a little bit of a hot streak as of lately, going on the over multiple times and only going on the under once, we definitely see it more as a matchup perspective. I think matchups, that's what's most important. And when we have him face off against a tougher matchup, we should actually see him go on the under way. So he's been able to take advantage of poor defensive teams or poor at defending, rebounds and assists to the guard position. But now with a tougher matchup like Bucks that do restrict, rebounds and assists, we should see him go on the under in this one. Now his average over the last 5 is 15.4. So on top of that, it is slightly above this line, but when we look at the Bucks in Indiana, the pace should definitely be, pretty level when it comes to the pace of this game. Now looking at Haliburton so far this season, when it comes to him facing off against the Bucks, we do see some interesting things here. Now they did face off on the 22nd of November, so he did have himself 1 rebound and 9 assists, so he would have been under that line there. And then he also had another game where they played each other on the 31st of December, and he had himself 7 rebounds and 7 assists. So he was able to make it over by 0.5. So just made it over, and like we mentioned before, if you are just missing, or has missed in that most recent game that they did play by 0.5, it's definitely in the right area. But this time around, we should see him go on the under. He may have just got an extra rebound, an extra assist on the lucky, and I think that's why he was able to go on the over in that recent one. But overall, when you look at that first game, he did get 9 and 1, or 9 assists, 1 rebound, and he was significantly below that line. So we should see a similar game, more like that one, coming into this next game, and we definitely see that being a big thing. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here for someone like Tyrese Haliburton, especially when it comes to this line. And like we mentioned before, when we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have him favored for the under as well, so it works out in our favor there. So Tyrese Haliburton, 13.5 rebs and assists for less, I think is a great pick. Now getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about none other than actually Chris Dunn. Okay, so Chris Dunn, great player as we all know, and he is a part of the LA Clippers team. This one is a fantastic one for points, rebounds, and assists allowed for 15.5, and this one is for less. Now, when we look at Chris Dunn, we've actually seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. Now, looking at those games, we see against the LA Lakers, he had a PRA of 21. The Phoenix Suns, he only had a PRA of 6. Detroit Pistons had a PRA of 18. New York Knicks had a PRA of 7. And then Sacramento Kings he had it at 10. So, we have seen him be a little bit more of having some outlier games and some games where he's definitely performed pretty poorly. Now, when it comes to this matchup, we do very much like the under for this situation here. Chris Dunn, although he does have a decent role in this team, it is a little bit more of a lower role due to the fact that not only is Kawhi back, but James Harden's there. Other players in this team have a bigger role than Chris Dunn. That's a big reason why we do like the under for this one. But when we look at what the Pelicans have, the Pelicans do rank 22nd when it comes to points allowed. Moving on into assists allowed, they rank 22nd as well, and then 28th in rebounds allowed. So they rank very, very poor in all three categories. However, just as similar as it was to the James Harden pick, Chris Dunn is also a guard as well. And like we mentioned last time, New Orleans Pelicans do a fantastic job at restricting points and also rebounds and assists to the guard position. That's a big reason why we did like the Harden for the under, and that is another big reason why we do like Chris Dunn for the under as well. They both play that point, guard position, whether it's point guard or shooting guard, doesn't really matter. The Pelicans overall just do great against guards. Now his average over the last 5 is also 12.4, so significantly below this line. And even if we look at the games that he has gone on the over, they are a little bit more of lucky or outlier type games, I like to call them, due to the fact that, some people can get hot in the hurry, but when you look at more of the averages, you see on a consistent basis, he's more going on the under. We definitely take that into consideration, and is a big reason why we do very much like the under for this one. Now, when we look at the matchup, we also do see, like we mentioned with the other pick for Harden, this isn't going to be a fast-paced game. It is going to be a little bit on the slower side, so it should lead to less volume overall for someone like Chris Dunn coming into this matchup. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this one, and we are sticking to it. So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but Prizepicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Kyle Kuzma. So as we all know, Kyle Kuzma has been traded most recently to the Milwaukee Bucks. He has already played a couple of games, and he's been doing a fantastic job. Now so far this season, this is combining with his time with the Wizards. He is averaging 15.1 points, 6.3 rebounds, 2.4 assists, while also shooting 42.6% from the field. So he's done a fantastic job for the Bucks, and when it comes to the Bucks, they do have themselves a great matchup against the Indiana Pacers. Now, when we look at the Bucks, they do have a record of 36-27, really, really good in the Eastern Conference, and they are continuing to push to continue to stay in that playoff position. And same, their matchup, Indiana Pacers, have a record of 35-28, so almost the same record there, and they are also continuing to fight for a playoff spot. Now, when it comes to this matchup, when we look at actually Indiana Pacers, we do see that the Pacers, when it comes to points allowed, we see that they rank 20th, which is interesting to see. On top of that, moving on into assists allowed, we see the Pacers rank 16th, and then rebounds allowed, we also do see the Pacers rank pretty similar as a rank 18th. So the Pacers rank pretty low in all three categories in that lower mid tier, and because of that, we do very much like the over for the situation here for someone like Kyle Kuzma. Now, Kyle Kuzma is a great player, but a big reason why we do very much like, the over for this situation is not only just due to the fact that Pacers do rank low in all three categories, but they also do struggle against the small forward position, which is what Kyle Kuzma's position is. So we definitely see someone like Kuzma being able to take advantage of this. Now, he does have a higher usage rate in the points and rebound department. I definitely would focus a lot more on those. I think assists, Kyle Kuzma tends to have accidental assists, and what I mean by that is he's not really looking to get assists or looking to play make or anything of that nature. His main goal or his main role on this team is definitely to score and rebound, and that's what he has been doing consistently. If we look at some of his past games, he's most recently coming off a game where he had 6 rebounds, 14 points. Another game against actually Atlanta where he had 10 rebounds and 17 points, which is fantastic to see. So he has been able to put together a great string of performances so far, and we think that hot streak will continue on into this next game, no doubt about it. Now, when we also look at Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo is expected to be out for this game. Now, it is still expected, that may change, but even if he does end up playing, we still see someone like Kyle Kuzma going on the over here. Now, when we look at this even further, what we also do see is that if Giannis is off, or even if he does play, Kuzma should, still be able to go in the over even if he does play. So if Giannis is out, however, I think Kuzma's usage rate is definitely going to see a huge increase. But either way, it works well for Kyle Kuzma. We do like the over for the situation, but keep an eye out for the points and rebounds line specifically. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Jarrett Allen. So, Jarrett Allen from the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, there isn't a lot of NBA games, but this one is a fantastic matchup because Jarrett Allen so far this season has been averaging 13.4 points, 10.2 rebounds, 2 assists, while also shooting 70.3% from the field. So, he's done a fantastic job for none other than the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Cavaliers do have themselves a great matchup against the Brooklyn Nets. So, it is going to be a very exciting game there, but when we look at actually the Brooklyn Nets, we see the Nets rank 8th when it comes to points allowed. Moving on into assists allowed, we see that they rank 14th, and then rebounds allowed, they actually do rank 6th. Now, when it comes to someone like Jarrett Allen, he doesn't really have that high of a usage rate in the assist department, so I would definitely focus a lot more on points and rebounds, but we definitely see someone like Jarrett Allen going on the under here. A big reason being is that not only do Brooklyn Nets rank very high in the points and also rebounds department and restricting it, but on top of that, Jarrett Allen is a center, and Brooklyn Nets actually do a fantastic job against centers. They do a great job at restricting them from points, rebounds, and assists, but I think when it comes to Jarrett Allen, we should or are more likely to see his line come out for points and rebounds. I doubt there will be an assist line, and for that reason, I definitely would focus on those two. Now, Jarrett Allen and the Cleveland Cavaliers have been on a win streak so far. They've been winning constantly over the last couple of games, but when it comes to Jarrett Allen's performance, it's definitely very up in the air depending on matchups. He isn't really the main star player of this Cleveland Cavaliers team. He is an integral player, do not get me wrong there, but when it comes to his usage rate in the stats department, it's definitely very much dependent on who they play off. So the fact that they do have a matchup like the Nets, who do a great job at restricting points and rebounds, we definitely see someone like Jarrett Allen maybe a little bit struggling from this field. So on top of that, the Nets and Cavaliers matchup, we are expecting a little bit more of a slower paced game. Cavaliers aren't the fastest team. Nets are, a little bit faster than Cleveland, but still a pretty slow paced team. So there's definitely going to be a slower paced type matchup between these two teams. And we definitely see that also having a huge effect on the usage rate and also just the sheer amount of volume that Jarrett Allen gets. So since that will be restricted quite a lot, we definitely like the under for this situation here. So Jarrett Allen, keep an eye out for his line, especially points and rebounds. If it is too close to his averages, definitely look to go in the under. So definitely see a lot of great value there. Now getting to the next player, we're going to be talking about Zion Williamson. So Zion Williamson from the New Orleans Pelicans has been playing fantastic. Now, he has been so far averaging this season 24.5 points, 7.2 rebounds, 5 assists, while also shooting 56.3% from the field. So he's done a fantastic job for none other than the New Orleans Pelicans, and the Pelicans do have themselves a great matchup against the Los Angeles Clippers. So it is going to be a very exciting game, no doubt about it, but when we look at the Los Angeles Clippers, or LA Clippers in this matter, we do see that they rank 4th when it comes to points allowed. Moving on into assists allowed, we see that they rank 6th, and then also rebounds allowed, they do rank 5th. So LA Clippers surprisingly rank very, very well in all 3 categories, and we definitely see that being a huge, huge plus due to the fact that we actually do like the under for someone like Zion Williamson coming into this LA Clippers game. Now, LA Clippers have been surprising a lot of people, even though they have lost Paul George. They did or have been able to play at a very highly defensive level, which I think is great to see, and it's definitely restricted a lot of stars. What Clippers do very well, they do a great job at restricting, star players of other teams in the points, rebounds, and assist department. A lot of the defensive focus becomes on their stars. That's the type of game plan and defensive game plan that LA Clippers like to run, and because of that, it's definitely been a huge, huge plus on why we do like the the under for someone like Zion Williamson. Now, Zion also is a power forward, and LA Clippers also do a fantastic job against the power forward position. So we definitely see that being taken into consideration coming into this matchup, which is another reason why we do like the under for this situation here. So when it comes to Zion Williamson, I would say you definitely would want to keep an eye out for his line. There's a lot of value there to go on the under, especially the line is too close to his averages. But whether it's points, rebounds, and assists, I don't really see any of them, being more lenient than the other. I think all have the capability to go on the under. So definitely keep an eye out for which line is the best, when the lines do come out. So keep an eye out for Zion Williamson there. Now, getting into the next player is Isaiah Stewart. So as we all know, Isaiah Stewart has been, on the news for some time now. He likes to pick fights, but Detroit Pistons have done a fantastic job because Stewart has been averaging 5.8 points, 5.6 rebounds, 1.6 assists, while also shooting 53.9% from the field. So he's done a fantastic job for none other than the Detroit Pistons. So they do have themselves a great matchup against the Washington Wizards. Now, when we look at the Washington Wizards, it is going to be a very exciting game. And when we look at also the matchup, we do see that when it comes to the Wizards, we see that when it comes to points allowed, they do rank 30th. Moving on into assists allowed, we see that they rank 27th. And then rebounds allowed, they do rank 30th as well. Now, when it comes to someone like, Isaiah Stewart, we do very much like, the over for this situation due to the fact that Washington Wizards do rank very poor in all three categories. Not only do they rank very poor in all three categories, but on top of that, when we look at someone like Isaiah Stewart, what we also do see is that he does have a decent usage rate in the rebounding department and also the points department. Now, for someone like Isaiah Stewart, I actually would focus a lot more on points and rebounds. I think rebounds is the top as the priority due to the fact that he does have the highest usage rate, out of all three categories in that. But I think points is definitely one you still want to keep an eye out for, as Stewart has been able, when he does face off against easier teams, be able to take advantage of it and score, pretty decently and get over on his line. Now, he also is a center position, and Washington Wizards really do struggle against the center position as well. Ever since they did lose Kuzma, it's definitely been a massive struggle for this Detroit Pistons team. And, I think Isaiah Stewart will be able to take advantage of this and go on the over here. When we also look at the Washington Wizards, the Wizards are a fast-paced team. Detroit are a little bit slower, but what we have seen time and time again is that Wizards do a fantastic job at speeding up slower-paced teams. So we actually see Isaiah Stewart probably seeing a little bit more volume than he usually does see, and for that reason, we are sticking to the over for this situation here.